Okay, good morning. In this room, we will have Ms. Cora Teets. She is a Research and Extension Associate in Urban Agriculture, and her topic today is Growing the Future, Innovative Ideas for Urban Agriculture in Kentucky.
Thanks, Megan, for the introduction. I'm speaking on behalf of Dr. Theo, my advisor in the Urban Agriculture Department, and my name is Cora Teets. I'll be speaking about growing the future and exploring innovative ideas to enhance urban agriculture in Kentucky. To begin, food insecurity is at all-time stake. The world is faced with a very increasing population all throughout the globe, and that includes the United States as well. In Kentucky, we are faced with high food insecurity rates, and we have many food deserts, especially in rural areas. There's an experiencing growing concern about the expenses of agriculture, especially in terms of biofuel production, growing impacts of the environment, and how agriculture can impact environmental climates and environmental creatures and plants. So in order to improve food security, we're looking at more creative ideas to mediate this problem. There's also issues within current agriculture practice with monoculture, which is growing a lot of common crops such as corn, soy, and wheat. And though these are great for livestock and corn byproducts, it may not be great for security as well as biodiversity in our environment. Within the U.S. and Kentucky, many people are food insecure, meaning that they can't meet their food needs on a daily or weekly, monthly basis. Within Kentucky, 13% of people are considered food insecure in both urban and rural areas. I think it's good to highlight that the eastern portion of the states, especially like Wolfe County and Breathitt County, have a higher rate of food insecurity at 22% versus 15% in Lexington and 12% in Franklin County, and 13% in Louisville. And the map just shows the difference between the southern parts of the state as opposed to western and northern. And you can see that food insecurity is higher in the southern region. Some causes of food insecurity in urban areas include redlining, which is where in history certain populations have been marginalized and not had the same opportunities as other regions. And this includes places like West Louisville and also certain parts of Lexington, which are included on the map. The top is West Louisville in the red, shows those areas that are especially food insecure. And on the bottom, Lexington, the red areas are more food insecure than the other urban parts. Some concerns that people have that lead to food insecurity are that there's not enough land for inner city residents to grow their own foods. There's a lack of training and education for urban residents, especially in terms of urban agriculture. And there's not much communication among traditional growers and urban residents. In Jefferson County in particular, which was just highlighted earlier, the red portion in West Louisville is most food insecure, don't have as much nutrition access as other parts of Louisville. And this is one of the top food deserts in our state. And redlining, historical marginalization is one of those reasons. And there's also limited access to stores that supply fresh fruits and vegetables or nutritious foods in these areas. And this is also due to lack of policy support, and there needs to be more emphasis on this in the future to reduce food insecurity or reduce food access in these areas. So one solution that we have is urban agriculture. It's a trending topic nowadays, especially after COVID-19. A lot of people had a lot more time to focus on finding solutions to food insecurity and growing crops and food products in small spaces, especially in terms of places without much crop land. Majority of the current urban farms in Kentucky are food justice driven, meaning that they're usually nonprofit organization or used for educational or social purposes, such as interacting with youth and teaching them about ways to grow foods in their backyards, on rooftops, in greenhouses, just finding creative solutions to this problem. And there's some images of some urban farms in Kentucky. So you can see that there's different ways that people have engaged youth, both within traditional field farming, with greenhouse farming, and hothouse farming. So some innovative ideas that can be used for producing food in urban agriculture include things like rooftop gardens, container gardening, raised beds, as well as traditional methods, but in an urban setting. One of these is vertical farming, so using the small space you have to grow it upward. And this can save space, it can increase production, expand operation, reduce emissions, also reduce water use and runoff, and you can produce year-round if in a greenhouse setting. This also reduces the amount of chemicals or pesticides used, as it's almost like soilless agriculture, but in a vertical scale. And it's great for growing leafy greens as well. Hydroponics is another example of a urban agriculture practice. It's perfect for urban settings. It does not need any soil or soil amendments, can be done year-round, and can be easily done with not much resources or really base knowledge. It also uses very little water as opposed to traditional agriculture, and you don't need land. You can use whatever space you have available, and some setups are included in the images here in very small container, reusing buckets or reusing materials that you already have on your farm. Aquaculture, of course, is another hot topic in urban agriculture, as it uses the mutual beneficial relationship between animals and plants. In this case, fish protein is produced as well as fish produce. And this can save space, produce high yields, and is fairly easy to do. Once you have the training and resources, you can use the small space you have available to produce both fish protein as well as produce. And these are some examples, but Kentucky State is renowned for our aquaculture program and has many resources available to train you all on how to create your own aquaponic system. Another urban agriculture topic is rooftop gardens. So there's a lot of cities with a lot of buildings, and everyone has a roof. You can use these for solar energy, but you can also use them for rooftop gardens. And it's like using the resources you already have available. It can reduce air condition costs, it can manage stormwater, it can also increase your property value. And you can reduce food insecurity within urban settings by providing a local food source right on top of your roof and grow fresh fruits and vegetables. And if you're in a climate where you can produce produce year-round, you can use this as a great way to reduce food insecurity. And you can also establish a greenhouse on top of a roof, so you can also produce year-round in areas that have winters and falls. Some ideas that we have are to create a mobile farm unit. This one is from Alabama Extension Program, and this can create a mobile interactive display for our community and help people understand how to grow food in a very small scale operation, and used for education and increasing healthy eating in small communities. Another focus that we would like to increase is the focus on ethnic crops, as in urban areas, many people are from international areas. In Louisville, about 70% of residents are international, 10% in Lexington, 12% in Cincinnati, and 9% in Indianapolis. And these are very high value crops, so you can sell them at farmers markets for increased price. They're usually not available at local grocery stores. And there's a big market for ethnic crops. These include things like ginger, African eggplants, chili, and okra. And it's good to understand the audience that you're serving and their requests and needs. There's a lot of funding available for urban agriculture, both locally and nationally. There are a lot of grant opportunities for small farms to apply to so that they can receive the funding to offset the initial operation cost. And the Kentucky Network for Innovation and Commercialization is one that we like to partner with a lot. And the Southern SRAERE is another great opportunity. So part of the urban agriculture team provides extension opportunities with education and awareness through a certification, urban agriculture certification, as well as conferences such as this. We aim to help farmers learn from each other and create mutual beneficial relationships. And also within our programs, we aim to work with small schools or community programs to increase food literacy among youth so they understand where the food comes from, who is producing the foods they consume, and also provide skills and knowledge about urban agriculture. And this can lead to future success and help youth understand how to start up their own farms and break through some of the barriers that older farmers have encountered. Do you all have any questions about urban agriculture or anything I can try to assist with? Yes. 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 Mm? Right. Mhm. Yes, we can definitely provide resources on how to maintain a raised garden or container garden. I know that one major barrier people have is understanding the soil health and fertilization of raised gardens, as each year the soil will get depleted of nutrients depending on what crops you grow. And there's certain practices that you can implement, such as cover crops or including organic fertilizers to amend that soil and make it healthy again for the next season. But we can definitely get in touch and provide you with more resources on that. Yes. Yeah. Go back there. Yes. And you all can always feel free to reach out to myself or my supervisor on email, and we can, of course, provide any resources or answer any additional questions for you all. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm. Yes. Yep. And I am fairly new to this role. I have been at Kentucky State for about 2 years now, but I was working for our nutrition and cancer department, and I recently transitioned into the urban agriculture research associate role just this month. So I'm excited about the new opportunities and using my background in agriculture and food systems to enhance our urban agriculture department. Yes. Lexington and yes, Lexington and Louisville are our biggest urban areas and cities, but they do both face similar issues with implementing urban agriculture practices, especially with the rainlighting history and the food deserts in those areas. But there's also food deserts in rural areas because they're more geographically isolated and don't have as many food stores or local food access. And transportation is one of those issues as well. Yes. On back, yeah. Right here? Oh, okay. On the other way. Make sure. Yes. Yes. So in the top left, I believe that this is an advocacy program where they are advocating for urban agriculture or showcasing what they have done for the semester. I wasn't a part of that class per se, but I do remember Dr. Theo talking about his interaction with them. But I hope to work with like the Franklin County schools as well as Louisville and Lexington schools so we can implement urban agriculture clubs or after school programs or even provide the resources and tools for agriculture teachers to teach people about the urban as well as traditional agriculture methods. But we do have facilities on campus that we would like to engage our college students as well as bring in high school or elementary students in as well, like with greenhouses, and just provide that structure for them to learn about these in a hands-on approach. Any other questions anyone has? Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. I definitely share that vision with you as well, and I think that um, the federal and national organizations such as USDA are recognizing those patterns and providing more small farmers as well as community centers more grant opportunities to provide these educational um, settings for students for the future. Um, we have to move on past history and amend these problems. But I think that it starts with advocacy at the community level, and then that may, as a group, bring that attention to the policymakers. But I think we are making great strides in the right direction, but there's still a lot of room for improvement. I would have to maybe do a little bit more outreach to understand exactly where we can make those interactions, but I think that as a group, we can provide that support and leadership to make those changes. Yes, we do have a extension office in West Louisville, and we're hoping to partner with them to provide more urban agriculture workshops or after school or community engagements. So we're just beginning. Dr. Theo had just established this lab last year, and so we're pretty much getting started, and we hope that we can bring great change. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes. Mm-hmm. I think you can go both ways. I know we do have a small farm grant with Kentucky State University that people can use to offset some of their initial costs. And I don't think it really matters if you are self-sustaining or for profit, as long as you are a small farm. Um, but there are a lot of others grants available. You just kind of have to fit the requirements and talk to those leads of those grants to figure out more information. But I think there's opportunities for both sides. And yeah. Anything else? No? Okay. Well, I appreciate your all's time, and I hope that you all have a great conference and get a lot of networking done. And I enjoyed talking to you all today. So thank you.